On Osrc News at 7, Supreme Court bars governors from controlling local government funds. Over 60 kilometers of rural roads for construction in Ondo South Senatorial District. Federal government directs removal of university system from integrated personnel and payroll information system. And from the foreign scene, Kenyan President Ruto sacks ministers following protests by youths. Joining us on the news at 7, Sahid Arib Salah is my name. The Supreme Court has declared that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold on to funds meant for local government administrations. In its lead judgment, read by Justice Emmanuel Agim, the Apex Court observed that the refusal of state government on official financial autonomy for local governments has gone on for over 2 decades. It said local governments have since stopped receiving the money meant for them from the state governors who act in their stead. It dismissed the preliminary objections of the defendants, who are the state governors. The Apex Court consequently directed that local government allocation from the Federation account should be paid directly to them henceforth. President Bola Tinubu has welcomed the decision of the Supreme Court of Nigeria affirming the spirit, intent and purpose of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the statutory rights of local governments. The President states that a fundamental challenge to the nation's development over the years has been ineffective local government administration, as governance at the critical cellular level of socio-political configuration is nearly absent. According to a statement, the President emphasizes that the onus is now on local council leaders to ensure that a broad spectrum of Nigerians living at that level are satisfied that they are benefiting from people-oriented service delivery. More reactions following the judgment of the Supreme Court. The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on the 36 state governors and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory to immediately account for and return the local government funds which they have collected over the years. SERAP's appeal came in the wake of a Supreme Court ruling that declared the practice of state governors and the FCT minister withholding and utilizing funds intended for local governments unconstitutional. According to SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadari, the organization applauded the Supreme Court for the decision, which the group said will end the persistent alleged misappropriation of FAC allocations of public funds meant for local governments by them. The organization noted that it is in the public interest for the governors and the FCT minister to account for and return the funds meant for local governments in their states and the FCT since 1999. Ondo State House of Assembly has pledged to work closely with the State Emergency Management Agency to enhance disaster management and response. The Chairman, House Committee on SDGs, Intergovernmental Affairs and Multilateral Relations, Mr. Tiamiyu Atere, during a working visit to the agency in Akure, assured of the Assembly's readiness to strengthen the activities of the agency. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshola Adesuya Ajayi has the details.
Emergency management is part of the key roles of Sustainable Development Goals, and the visit of the House Committee on SDG, Intergovernmental Affairs and Multilateral Relations to the agency in charge of disaster management is in a bid to strengthen the capability of the state emergency management to respond to emergencies and ensure safety and well-being of citizens. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Tiamiyu Atere, expressed the determination of the House to support and strengthen the activities of the State Emergency Management Agency. Mr. Atere maintained that the partnership will focus on various key areas, including improving early warning systems, enhancing community awareness and preparedness, as well as ensuring adequate funding and resources for emergency response activities.
Assuming we are not here now, though the situation was start now, we will not be aware of this. I wanted to say now, we should at least, if you cannot go to 345 to see the ourselves, you can see 10.
Other lawmakers charged the management of the agency to always carry the assembly along and promised adequate sensitization of their constituents in ways to curb disasters. The acting permanent secretary, Office of the Deputy Governor in charge of the agency, Mr. Idowu, appreciated the support from the House of Assembly, highlighting the critical need for legislative backing to improve disaster management initiatives.
Delighted having you, because we see you as a force that can also help this agency to perform maximally. We know we do because we can get things done.
Also, the team visited the office of the Secretary to the State Government, where the SSG, Mr. Tayo Oluwatuyi, intimated the team with some of the activities of his office and assured of more robust engagement between the executive and the legislature.
The office is made up of 3 basic departments, that is the General Administration, Political and Economic Affairs Department, and the Cabinet Services Department.
The lawmakers emphasized the need for the state government to work hand in glove with the legislative arm for the benefit of citizens. Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajayi, Osrc News.
Timely completion of road projects, the Ondo State Office of the Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project and its partners have continued to interface with host communities. The latest in the series is the visit to Ondo South Senatorial District, where contractors handling road projects met with the people of the need to collaborate for success. The RAMP team visited Odiaye, Irili and Egute Pare community in Laje Council area. To report. The 3.5-kilometer Ipare to Okipare Road project in Ilaje local government area is among the selected rural roads to receive attention and part of the strategies to get results. Interface of the officials of Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project with the host communities. The latest visits by the RAMP officials is to showcase the contractor handling the project and seek further collaboration with the people. Heads of the benefiting communities, farmers and business owners expressed optimism for a speedy completion.
And we are going to give RAM the enabling environment to operate. There will be no crisis of any form.
We fully support the contractor to make sure that the work is complete.
This road, it go benefit people. We go benefit. Both we wait who they here or stranger. Nobody will no go benefit for the road.
The team was also at Odiaye to present the contractor handling the 13 kilometers Rainhead Junction, Botalota, Likare Rural Road to the people. State Coordinator of Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, Femi Adetomi, helped the people to see the contractors as in progress.
Before the contractors will move in their equipment, their personnel to the various project sites, we need to sensitize the community so that they will be used to the level, to the work that we want to do, and we will introduce this contract. And and these are done to mitigate any issues likely to happen between the community, how the project is going to impact on them, and negatively though is going to be positive at the end of the project. So we need to carry them along to tell them the purpose to which those roads were projects were implemented.
The town's monarch commended Governor Aida for his rural development drive.
And I'm very happy.
Palace of the Iralepo is to intimate journalists in Ondo State on the activities lined up for the 2024 Isikon Day. The Olu of Kajola Isikon, who doubles as the chairman planning committee, Olumuyiwa Aguda, noted that the day is set aside to create opportunities for the people of the community to celebrate the rich culture of Isikon, and also a time to celebrate achievements as well as contribute to the development of the community. According to him, traditional rulers across the country are expected to grace the occasion, just as distinguished individuals will be honored.
It's got a very rich and ancient history, with the President Alepo being the 91st Oba to sit on this exalted throne. Ojo ascended the throne of his forefathers on the 4th of November 2021 and was presented with Star of Office on the 14th of July 2022 by Governor Lucky Mason Adedatiwa, who represented the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. The Isikon Day is primarily to showcase the real culture and tradition of the Isikon people and to raise funds for the development projects conceived by His Ancestral Majesty Oba Ojo. To celebrate with us, we are expecting no fewer than 120 traditional rulers across Nigeria, including Alhaji Abubakar Umar Suleiman, the 11th Emir of Bade from Yobe State, Oba Adedoyin Abolari Doronko Okela, Oba Ade Agbo Odiore of Otu Ekiti, Oranfe of Ile-Ife, representing the Ora dynasty, and other traditional rulers.
The chairman hinted that complementary activities to mark the day include skill acquisition, health outreach, traditional games, and conferment of chieftaincy titles.
There are many courses, I've written them down here, but some of them: solar panel assembly, laptop and mobile phone repairs, website design and many others, cooking and all those things, they are doing them currently downstairs. They are giving skills. They just do a banner registration with about 2,500. These are courses they normally pay about 100,000 for. And our facilitators are from Abuja. They are citizens who are rendering their services free of charge to us for part of the celebration. Homemade by the chiefs and the Olus in their various communities. All the communities will showcase their various people in gaily dressed, gaily attired. They will pay homage to the Alepo Bisikon, who is the overall ruler of this kingdom.
Activities marking this year's Isikon Day commenced on the 8th of July and would be rounded off on 21st July. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
The Ondo State Council of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has elected Ademola Olapade as the chairman of the Congress. Olapade is equally the state chairman of the Nigeria Civil Service Union. Members of the State Executive Council of the Congress across 22 affiliate unions took the decision at a special meeting held at the State NLC Secretariat, Lagos, today. The position of the NLC chairman became vacant last month following the retirement of the former occupant, Victor Amoko. The Federal Executive Council has directed that the university system be removed expeditiously from the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS platform. The federal government had earlier approved the initiative. The new directive was part of the resolutions reached at the council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu in Abuja. According to Special Advisor to the President on Information Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the directive on the separation of the universities from the IPPIS platform was given to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. This move is expected to address the Union of Universities and the government. The Council asked the Secretary of the Government of the Federation to expedite the implementation of the Council decision made months ago, separating the universities from the IPPIS platform. Former Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, has collapsed outside the courtroom at a federal high court, Abuja, due to ill health. Maman, whose plea was fixed for Thursday morning, collapsed outside the courtroom before the case was called. The former Minister's counsel, Femi Ate, SAN, told Justice James Omotosho shortly when he was called to take his plea. Upon resumed hearing, the ex-minister walked into the courtroom and stepped into the dock with part of his clothes drenched. The Corporate Affairs Commission has announced its decision to cancel the certificates of incorporation of Baroda Change, whose licenses were revoked by the Central Bank of Nigeria earlier this year. In a notice on its website, CAC said the certificates will be cancelled within 3 months if the affected companies do not change the names and objects of such companies. The CBN in February revoked the licenses of 4,173 Baroda Change operators over their failure to meet regulatory guidelines. The Apex Bank, in a statement by its acting director, Corporate Communications, CD Akama, said the regulatory provisions flouted include non-payment of all necessary fees within the stipulated period. The CBN has since released fresh regulations and guidelines for Baroda Change operations in Nigeria, which included new categorizations with different capital bases. Now to the foreign scene. Kenyan President William Ruto has announced the dismissal of almost his entire cabinet and consultations to form a broad-based government following widespread anti-government protests. He said the move affects all ministers, including the Attorney General, but excluded Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign Minister Musela Mudavida and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Ruto said he decided on the dismissals upon reflection, listening keenly to what the people of Kenya have said, and after a holistic appraisal of the performance of cabinet and its achievements and challenges. The action follows protests led by young Gen Z Kenyans that are widening into a broader campaign against Ruto and his government with some demonstrations degenerating into deadly violence. Ruto also said he will immediately engage in extensive consultations across different sectors and political formations with the aim of setting up a broad-based government. 7 people have died and at least 7 others are missing in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal after the southeastern province was hit by heavy rain and a tornado. That's according to local authorities. Shiwadotola has details.
Whenever a storm hits South African Western Cape province, it's actually families in poor areas who suffer the most. This is Kalisha town. Thunderstorms, strong winds and heavy rains have destroyed thousands of homes across the city.
I don't have anything in my house. My furnitures are broken. I don't have a roof because my roof just blew away and I can't find it. And then now we have to do whatever it is so that we can have a roof over our head. We have nothing.
The bad weather has left a trail of destruction.
It was raining. At first it wasn't bad. Then at night the wind started blowing. I was sleeping. I woke up, there was water everywhere.
Local government officials say more than 4,000 people in Kalisha are homeless.
The primary issue is getting shelter for them. So that is what is going to at least make a situation livable, make a situation better. That's what we need. And the rain is not doing any justice to them.
Other parts of Cape Town experience flooding and power outages. South African weather authorities are warning of multiple cold fronts this week. That means more rains and strong winds in the coming days. Shiwadetola, Osrc News.
NATO leaders have promised to give Kyiv at least $43 billion worth of military aid within the next year to help boost its defenses against Russian attacks. The pledge was made at the Military Alliance's annual summit, which is taking place in Washington, D.C. NATO also expressed concern about China's support for Russia. Beijing responded by accusing the organization of provocations, lies and smears. Shiwadetola has details.
NATO leaders are welcomed at the White House for the official dinner marking an end to day one. This preceded by the first in-person meeting between President Biden and the newly elected Prime Minister of Britain, Keir Starmer.
We had a long conversation on the phone. When you won, give me your hand there, pal. And we're the best of allies maybe in the whole world.
The media was asking about the president's health and whether he would step down from the campaign. George Clooney added his voice to those calling on President Biden to step down. And there was a lot of private discussions among NATO members as to who will run the U.S. government after the November election.
If there's one thing that I'm concerned about with the United States is the polarization of the political climate. It is, I have to admit, very toxic.
Aside from the health of the U.S. president, Ukraine was the main topic of discussion. Members pledging to supply an array of air defense systems and F-16 jets.
The F-16s are on their way. The transfer is happening as we speak. They'll be flying in the skies of Ukraine this summer.
In his opening address, President Biden said the entire alliance faced a threat from Russia and its allies.
Right now, Russia is on a wartime footing with regard to defense production. They're significantly ramping up their production of weapons, munitions, and vehicles. And they're doing it with the help of China, North Korea, and Iran. We cannot, in my view, we cannot allow the alliance to fall behind.
It was a forum for members to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the alliance in the very city where its first meeting took place. Shiwadetola, Osrc News.
To end the news tonight, another look at the major stories. The Supreme Court has barred 36 state governors from controlling local government funds. As I told you that over 60 kilometers of rural roads are to be constructed in southern central district of Ondo State. We also brought to you a report that the federal government has directed the removal of university system from IPPIS. And from the foreign scene, Kenyan President Ruto sacked almost all members of his cabinet following protests by youths. And that's the news tonight. Thanks for watching. Good evening.